What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taipei is calling on Beijing to stop its coercion after China called Taiwanese independence activities the biggest threat to cross-strait peace. China's foreign ministry comments came after Taiwan President Lai Ching-te's National Day speech, in which he hailed plans to develop Taiwan's defense. Beijing added that resisting unification would push Taiwan toward conflict. Taiwan's foreign ministry has hit back, saying both sides of the strait exist on equal footing, and calling on China to stop malicious attacks and to renounce the use of force to alter the status quo in the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council also weighed in, saying Beijing should work with Taipei to maintain peace. China cut off communication with Taiwan's central government in 2016. Taiwan is slamming China after its officials issued bounties on 18 people it says are Taiwanese military officers inciting Taiwanese separatism. Xiamen's Public Security Bureau says all 18 are part of a military psychological warfare unit. It has published their pictures and ID card numbers online, offering rewards of $1,400 for tips leading to their arrest. In response, Taiwan's defense ministry said China is trying to divide Taiwan, belittle its government, and wage cognitive warfare. It said China has repeatedly issued these kinds of reports and called the tactics clumsy. U.S. President Donald Trump has revived Washington's trade war with Beijing, saying he will impose steep levies in retaliation for China restricting access to rare earth exports. Cadence Caranta reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he'll impose an additional 100% tariff on Chinese goods after Beijing tightened export controls on rare earths, a move Trump called a moral disgrace in dealing with other nations and said came as a shock.
We said, where did that come from? It was just, that was out of the blue, right? Out of the blue, they came up with this whole import-export concept, and nobody knew anything about it.
Rare earths are naturally abundant materials used in everything from smartphones to weapons. They're critical for manufacturing many U.S. technologies, and China dominates their processing and refining at about 90%. In retaliation for China restricting access to these key minerals, Trump is imposing a 100% tariff on Chinese goods, on top of the existing 30%, starting November 1st. Trump said the U.S. will also impose export controls on, quote, any and all critical software. This latest escalation between the world's two largest economies has also cast doubt on a meeting between Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping that was expected to take place on the sidelines of the APEC summit in South Korea in just a few weeks. On social media, Trump said he didn't see any reason to meet with Xi anymore, though he later appeared to walk back that statement.
Just want to confirm, have you canceled your meeting with President Xi? And
no, I haven't canceled, but I don't know that we're going to have it. But I'm going to be there regardless, so I would assume we might have it.
All this, a revival of the trade war between China and the U.S., appearing to undo a period of eased tensions as both sides lowered their tariffs during trade talks, and throwing into question future relations between the two sides. Devin Tai and Cadence Caranta for TaiwanPlus.
Unexploded bombs are so common in the Solomon Islands, the locals call them backyard fireworks. Bring Thomas look at how these remnants of World War II still pose a threat 80 years later.
The Allied plan was to wrest these important islands one by one from entrenched Japanese soldiers and Marines. On August 7, 1942, American Marines in their first major amphibious operation landed on Guadalcanal.
For over 80 years, generations of Solomon Islanders have lived with the deadly legacy of World War II.
I was at my house. It was a Sunday afternoon. I was just sitting with my daughter and a few of my in-laws, and then we heard the explosion, and everyone was like, oh, what is this? We felt the aftershock, and everyone was a bit confused at that time because, like, it's been 80 years, and this explosion, like, it just happened out of nowhere.
During the war, the Solomon Islands, particularly Guadalcanal, were a key battleground between the Japanese Empire and the United States. Today, remnants from the fighting, in the form of thousands of unexploded bombs, are still being found, sometimes by farmers, other times by children, buried beneath homes, in school playgrounds, and in vegetable gardens, but most are in old battlegrounds.
So this is a very well-known battlefield in the Guadalcanal campaign, the Battle of Bloody Ridge, or also called Edson's Ridge.
In 1942, this ridge saw intense fighting between the U.S. Marine Corps and Japanese Imperial troops, so vicious it devolved into hand-to-hand combat. Today, its lush, windswept slopes are saturated with unexploded ordnance, or UXO.
We have cleared a boundary where we put the fence up, and that's the famous hill. So 3 months ago we cleared that, and it was a lot of UXO. 16,000 small arms caliber bullet, unfired, just laying around. And then there were 53 hand grenades, rifle grenades, just laying around the rim of where people walk around all the time.
But bombs are found across the country, not just in its battlefields. Bernadette Miller-Wallet and her friends played with them as children, intentionally detonating what they called backyard fireworks. Today, she works with the Halo Trust, a UK charity that clears landmines and unexploded bombs worldwide, and teaches communities how to stay safe.
I think before working for Halo, I think I was just the same as everyone else. Like, you'd see items, you touch it, move it. You weren't really aware of the dangers that it poses to us. So, like, that's why when I started working with Halo and we did risk educations, we tell people to, like, okay, if you see items, wherever you find it, do not touch it, do not go near it, report it. We encourage people to report it to the police.
Halo Trust is working with communities to map UXO hotspots in red. If they find, then remove a bomb, they cover it with a yellow sticker.
Behind me, the dots are showing points of ordnance that have then been, the police have responded, and the police have either removed them or destroyed them on site, depending on the risk posed.
Although Halo's operation in the Solomon Islands is small, it's helped destroy around 50,000 unexploded bombs over the past 15 years. Their maps show it's hard to go even 100 meters without finding one, meaning they've likely only scratched the surface.
Here, everybody knows someone that has been affected. They've either found something in their back garden, their children have, or they know somebody that was injured, or someone who sadly died as a result of an item exploding.
Long after US and Japanese forces fought one of World War II's fiercest campaigns, Solomon Islanders are still finding bombs in their homes and on their idyllic coastal slopes. 80 years later, their own battle against the remnants of that conflict is proving to be an uphill fight. Justin Wu and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is edging closer to becoming a super-aged society. The country's Statistics Bureau reports that by the end of September, just under 20% of Taiwan's population was 65 or older. Societies are considered super-aged if over 20% of their population is in that age group. The figures also show Taiwan's population shrank for the 21st month in a row, with some 8,600 births compared to over 15,000 deaths. A new system to protect migrant fishers from unpaid wages is set to come online next year. Taiwan's deep sea fleet employs more than 10,000 foreign workers, mostly from Southeast Asia, but some ship owners are known to withhold their crew's pay. Under the new system, the government will rank ship owners by risk level based on how they pay their crews. Those with higher risk must contribute more to a wage reserve fund. Only no-risk operators will be exempt. Companies that don't pay in could lose their operating licenses. For a closer look at the new rule on migrant fisher salaries, John Ventura spoke to Shi Yixiang of the Taiwan Association for Human Rights.
How have fishing boats been able to get away with withholding their crews' wages in the first place? Can you give us some explanation?
之所以会发生欠薪案，是因为船长、船东或仲介呢，他们利用渔工在海上孤立，没办法对外通讯，去确认薪资到底有没有汇入他们家人的户头，所导致的一个现象。所以如果渔工在海上就可以使用 WiFi， 他们可以每个月去确认薪资是否有正常的发放。
So what's your reaction to this new fund that ship owners will have to pay into to ensure their crew salaries are paid on time?
它完全无法解决问题，再加上它其中提到每个月都 发薪资是零风险，然后欠薪3个月是低风险，这个是我们公民社会难以接受的一个状况，因为雇主支付薪资给员工是天经地义的，这样，那我们很担心这一个政策呢，其实会鼓励业者呢，把欠薪当做一个常态。
Since you're so critical of the new policy, what do you think the government should do instead?
应该回归到让远洋渔工适用劳基法，然后废除所谓的 two-tier system， 就是废除聘雇双轨制，然后应该要让远洋渔工完整的纳入台湾的相关的劳动法规的保障。
That was Shi Yixiang of the Taiwan Association for Human Rights. Taiwan has become a thriving center for the export of orchid flowers. John Van Triest takes a look at the country's orchid industry and how it got so big.
Taiwan is one of the world's leading exporters of orchid flowers. In greenhouses like this one, flowers destined for markets around the world grow under careful heat, humidity, and lighting conditions. When ready, these flowers are snipped off, packaged, and readied for shipment. For the last 2 to 3 decades, Taiwan has invested heavily in seed sources, tissue culture, and production technologies. In 2023, orchid exports brought in close to $200 million. One reason these flowers sell so well is that they're hardy.
切花就是把这丛的花夹掉了，伊就是顶管安尼尔，伊无摘啊出去，伊纯粹就是这支花出口安尼尔。乌蝶兰的切花，伊唔是单咱买倒来插哩，伊种内底有伊的寿命足长了。另外一个就是伊的运输，伊嘛会当忍耐一个足长的时间。所以咱种乌蝶兰的切花嘛是咱台湾离乌蝶这个部分的明日之星。
Around 80 countries buy these flowers, but along with Japan, it is the United States that's become the chief market and the chief reason for the industry's rise. Before 2008, the U.S. market was tough to crack due to strict biosecurity rules.
进前要去销去美国，足麻烦的。你着爱把兰花种伫迄落水草内底，你来水草摕掉，爱来吹好干，各方面的，爱2-3工，才可以来用控温送去美国。咱若法度直接炸水草，加迄盆啊，送去美国，你足方便的。
But 2004 was the year that restrictions changed. Taiwan became the only country permitted to send moss and pots to the U.S. along with the flowers. It's certainly still not easy to sell abroad. Greenhouses must still be up to strict U.S. standards. And shipments have to be totally free of bugs, ferns, or other foreign materials. Still, the easing of rules in 2004 saw orchid exports to the U.S. jump 5-fold in the decade that followed. One reason for Taiwanese orchid success is technical and painstaking. Breeders clone the best flowers. In some cases, they can squeeze about 800 to 1,000 identical copies of the exact flower customers want, about as far as you can go without getting mutations that customers do not want. As growers will tell you, it all requires a lot of patience.
组织培养要3-4年，所以我们的时间很长啊。要大量生产的时候要3年到4年，所以一棵花它能够到市场的话，至少要经过7年的历练。
Taiwan's orchids do have competition. Growers are impressed with Dutch products, and China's orchid industry, while still some years behind Taiwan, is also catching up. There's also the issue of U.S. tariffs and what they'll mean for the industry. But growers in Taiwan have grown used to working with the government and research institutions, and they're confident that with enough support, Taiwan will remain the orchid kingdom. Patrick Chen and John Van Triest for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website and follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we take you on mushroom hunting tours in the Potsdam region, southwest of Berlin. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.